Hi and welcome to Excel and Excel with Dom's Tech. Today we're going to create an invoice. So this is the invoice we're making today. As you can see, it's slick, it's professional, and it's got lots of drop downs and things which make things more efficient for all of us to administer. So if we're going to add a new product in, what we do, just change the quantity and then the total cost for the product and overall is changed. And again, with the addresses, a nice little drop down, a few VLOOKUPs, and we can change our supplier. And this all comes from a little database. So how do we do this? So we start with a blank canvas, and the first thing to do is just to grey out all the cells. And what this does, it just reduces all the background noise that we have on the spreadsheet itself. So highlight the cells you want to select, click on grey, and just do that. The second thing is to create a border for the area with which we're going to be using. So select the cell's full range and just give that a nice bold border. And this represents the size of an A4 piece of paper. So click that, click the thick box border, and you want all the cells to be white. So now you can see it looks like a bit of A4 paper. So first thing is we start just changing a bit of formatting. Click on the two outer columns, hold Control, click down, and just drag them across a little bit. And what this does, this just gives us two little columns to control either side to adjust the formatting nice and quickly. So the first thing we do is just put in the name of the company with which we're writing from. So today, Dom's Tech is writing from its new office in New Bond Street in London. And this makes things nice and clear for customers to write back to us, or if there is any other issues that we have, that they could be addressed really, really quickly. So full contact deals are listed here, so it's nice and slick. Not forgetting, obviously, the telephone number, and then the email address as well. After this, we can start putting in the date. So for that, we just type in date. And it's good to have this in bold. So what we do is press Control B to put that in bold, or click the little B button up here. In the next cell, this is where our first formula will go. So as always with Dom's Tech, all the formulas and explanations are listed across here. So we're using the today formula. What this will do, it'll always put in today's date. So put equals, then type in today, open and close brackets with nothing in the middle. Press enter, and today's date populates. And if you open the spreadsheet tomorrow, then the actual date will change to the date that you open the spreadsheet. So it's nice and quick and simple. Then we put in the billing address, and again, that's put it in bold. And just across here, we'll just put in the delivery address. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now is put in a drop down. And for that, you will need a separate little spreadsheet attached with the name of the companies with which you are actually billing. So these are the company names, and there's further information which we can put for new companies that we're supplying, and this could go on for 1,000 lines, 10,000 lines, and I've just populated a small bit of information for us to use here. The second thing is the addresses, so the first line of the address, second line, third line, fourth line, etc. So what we do to create the drop down, highlight the area with which we want to be using on the drop down, and it's best to highlight more than you actually need. That way, if new stuff is populated underneath, it can be added in automatically. So for that, we type in up here, next to the formula bar, company. Press enter, and now it's saved that area as the company area. So when we refer to company, it knows to refer to that section. So we click on the cell that we want the drop down to be in, and we want that to be in the drop down over here as well. And we click on data, data validation again, select list from the drop down, and put in equals and then company. So this is the range which we've put in for Excel to remember. Press OK. Then when you select on here, the information is there to be listed. So the next part that we want to do is use a VLOOKUP, and that would be the VLOOKUP here, to look at the company name and then input the addresses as that changes. So what we do, we just put in VLOOKUP, so equals, then VLOOKUP, and we want it to look at this here. So this is what we are searching for before the first comma. Then after the first comma is the area or range that we're going to be looking in. So we click on the product list, and we want that to be looking on these cells here, or these columns, sorry. So columns E to I. Hit the next button, and we want that to pull through address field 1, which is the second column of the range that we've selected. So we just put that in as a 2. Then we want that to be an exact match. So we write false. Once that's done, press enter, and then that information pops up. What I'm just going to show you here, if we delete the information, it pops up with an NA. That looks really bad, so what we can do to get rid of that is use the if error. So that's listed here, and it's listed in a few of the sections, just to make the information look a bit cleaner, and I'll just show you what that does now. So click after the equals, but before the V, if error, open bracket, then you can see the value is what the value of the formula is going to be, but afterwards is the value if there's an error. So if an NA pops up, instead of showing the NA, it'll show what we want. So type in 2 speech marks, close the bracket, press enter, then that disappears. And we can do that for every area now. So I'll just put this back in just to show you what it does. And we just click the formula, and we just paste that into the cells below. What this is doing, this is pulling through the other addresses. At the moment, it's pulling through from row number 2. So we just change that to a 3. And that pulls up with the next line of the address. So this one a 4. Then the final line of the address here. And that's all good for us now. So we'll just copy these across now to the delivery address. So copy the formula and paste this in. Okay, so you can see here that it's actually looking at the address for Scots rather than Asia to Cuba, which we've selected. So what we can do there is click onto the formula bar, and that tells you that it's looking at this cell. So we can just drag that across, press enter. Now it's pulling up the correct name. So we'll just put these through the different sections, and we'll be good to go. And again, just change these so it's the correct, looking at the correct columns and the correct information. And you can see from this how much quicker it'll be now. As we're selecting the different addresses, they pull up straight away for us. The reason why these two actually have separate fields is because sometimes the billing address could be separate from the delivery address. So if this, say, was Scott's the restaurant, this could be the head office, but the delivery address is actually separate for the restaurant itself. So that's why it's really useful for us, that they're kept separate. Obviously, they can be made the same if needed. So we're going to create the body of the actual invoice ourselves now. So we'll just highlight an area across, and what we do is just click on all borders. And what this does, it gives the area a bit of structure. So what we want to show on the invoice is the product ID, the product name, the quantity, the unit price, and the product cost. And you could actually put in anything here, as long as it's relevant and useful, or anything you think the customer will need, or perhaps that we will need as a company to identify different things that we're looking for. So we want to put in a drop down here as well. We just lengthen the invoice out slightly, just to make this look a bit more professional. And we'll just narrow these down, just to keep that within the A4 limits. If it looks approximately A4 size, then it should print off quite nicely. So we're just going to choose, so here in these cells, select all of them. This is where we want the product name to appear as a drop down. So what we're going to do is just select the products. So we select the products listed here, and I'll just add one more on just to show you one little feature. And we're going to call these products. Okay, press enter, and now the products list is now activated. So click on these cells, and again, click on data, data validation, the list equals, then products. Press enter, and now these are all here listed for you. And the little feature I wanted to show you is just the extra space at the bottom. So they are down there as a blank at the moment, but if we have a new product which we want listed on there, for example, say a steak, then that'll automatically be put on the list on the bottom. So that's why it's best doing a few more as an extra little thing for you, just to save a bit of admin time in the future. So to populate the product ID, what we do is a VLOOKUP. So again, we'll use the if error before, as we did on the billing address. So equals if error, then the VLOOKUP itself. And what we're looking up is the product name. So click here, then back to the product list, and just select ABC. So because this is the product ID, it's column 1, 2, and 3. So put the 3 in there. Then we want an exact match. We want it to return the precise value of the lemon, i.e. exactly the same product ID. So put that as a false. Close the bracket, put a comma, and you can see now that's moved on to the if there's an error. We want that to be blank, so 2 speech marks, close bracket. Okay, and we do exactly the same. So go in the top bar, highlight and copy, and paste that into the unit price. The unit price is listed on column B, and that is the second column of ABC. So we just put in the number 2 instead of 3, then that'll pop up for us. So with the product costs, what we want that to do is to multiply the unit by the quantity. With the quantity, we can just put in whatever we want there. So it's nice and easy. So if a restaurant buys 354 lemons, it'll multiply the unit price and come up correctly. So for the product costs, again, an if error. And what we're doing is multiplying the unit price by the quantity. So click on unit price, click on the little star, which is Shift and F8, that means multiply, and then click on quantity, close the bracket, and we could just put in the 2 speech marks at the end, and that's done for us. So the product cost. So with the product costs, what we're going to do is just use the if error again. So equals if error, and we're going to be multiplying the unit price. So click on that cell, then multiply, which is Shift and F8 for the little star. Click on the quantity, and then hit the comma, 2 little speech marks, close the bracket, and now that formula is activated. So if the lemons are deleted, then these cells will go blank, rather than showing the NA which we saw before. So we'll just drag these down now, just to make this a bit easier, and it'll allow us to populate other sections of the product name, because at the moment, if we do, it comes up with nothing. So once these are dragged down, click on the actual cell, copy it, and just paste that down. Okay, so you can see there, the ID has popped up straight away. The same with these two cells for the unit price and the product costs. Just put them down, and it's pasting the formula. So it's not pasting the value of the cell. Like if we copy and paste the quantity, it's copying 354. We can change that because that's a free text field, and that could be changed to anything. But the rest of it's all formula based. So now it's on there, it can be selected nice and easily, put in the quantity, and everything adds up. Now we just want to make the rest of the invoice. So what we'll do, we'll start looking at the comments box. So we'll just put in the comments box here and put that in bold. It's nice and clear. And we'll just highlight the cells here. What I've done beforehand, just a quick practice, I selected the merge and center cells. So if you select these, they're selected as normal. But if you select them in entirety and click on merge and center, then you can populate the information in there nice and clearly and quickly. And we'll just give that a border as well, just so that's segregated off. The same with the comment section itself. And with the information here, we just want to put this information in the top corner to make that look nice and clean. So hit the Align Left button at the top, and that's put that in the center. And we just want to make that a bit bigger as well, so it's a bit clearer for our customers. Second part of the formatting is just to have the area down here. This is just for any advertising or any key messages we want to get across to our customers, whether it's a new website or an up and coming promotion. Then we could just put that information here. So again, this box is merged and centered, and that's put in quite a large font there, so it's nice and clearly visible. We're just going to put in the subtotal now. And then the discount. And the good part about the area down here, we can actually put whatever we want in. So once you're comfortable with using each of the different fields and areas and the formulas that we have, you can put in anything you want here. So whether you want to say like an extra fee or delivery charge or a late payment fee, these can all be input in here separately. With the subtotal, we're using the formula here, and that's just a nice quick sum. So equals sum, open the bracket, and select all the area of the invoice. Close the bracket off, and that sums up all the information nicely for us. The discount, we'll say we'll just give £50, and the total due is just these two figures added up. The total discount is actually a negative figure, so we're just going to deduct that off the total. And we want these to come up in a nice accounting format, and just click on the currency field here. A little bit of formatting, just to make this actually look more like an invoice itself. So we'll just break these down. So what we want is a top and double bottom border, and you can see now that's nice and clear. The final thing I think this needs is a bit of color, and what you need to do is stick to the brand colors of your company. Again, for professionalism and to make it look really, really good. So just click on the areas that you want populated, that color, click on the color bar and choose the correct color of your company. Because this is the advertising section down below, we want this to stand out a bit more. So because of that, if you have a nice thick color like that, it's good to make it white, just so the information stands out a bit more clearer. On the comment section, we could just put, say the invoice is due by a certain date that you want, or you can just put your bank details there, or just the way of actually paying the invoice itself. The final thing this invoice needs is a logo. Insert, pictures, and what we've got here, a nice DOMS tag logo. So this could be dragged around or resized. So if your invoice is big or small, it can be put anywhere you want. That's the final invoice. We hope you like that. It's nice, it's quick, it's efficient. The time you spend now actually creating this invoice is time you will get back month on month as you're billing customers and suppliers. Take your time, pause the video, rewind it, look at each of the different sections here and the little guides for the specifics of each different formula, and you'll be able to create this and start saving time yourselves. Thanks for watching.